Howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day wherein I forgot that I woke up late today. Normally I wake up at around 6:30. Occasionally I'll wake up around 7 or so if I need the sleep. I woke up at 8 o'clock this morning, so I have been behind. I forgot to take out the garbage cans. I forgot to take out what little trash I have generated this week to the garbage can. So the garbage didn't get taken out. Luckily, I hadn't really generated much garbage since, so there wasn't really anything in there. Joy? But yeah, I am running behind. It is 9:30 a.m. Normally, I'm rendering my video by this time. I'm only recording. Yay! It's been a great day. The day's only started. Yesterday was a wild day, though. Oh boy, I'm going to talk about that one first. Because I started off the early part of my day with vlogging, as I do, and then I relaxed for a little while because I just need to wind down and get my brain to calm down on things and just be chill. And then my sister called, which is fine. I mean, she's been helping me a lot. She makes the phone calls because she lives in another state, far, far away, in another time zone. She makes phone calls, does Googling and stuff, and makes the phone calls for in town and such. As even I gave permission to my social worker at the VA for my sister to call, and she's been calling her and working with her. So she's really stepped up, and thank goodness for that. I make sure to thank her a lot when we're doing this. Not so that I'm like all the time. It's just at the end of the phone calls when we're saying goodbye, I say, thank you very much. I do appreciate all of your help. And it is good. One of the things she has done is determined what we need for paperwork so that I can be expedited in lists for various places for low income and veteran housing and such. But we need the letter, and so she had talked to people to find that out, and we always tend to like be on the phone for a very long time. So it was late afternoon. We talked for about an hour. It was late afternoon, early afternoon, not late, early afternoon when we finished. She sent me a letter that I needed to print and get over to the rental company so that they could get what we needed. Well, I don't have a printer. I have to use the library. And even though it was relatively cool, I got confused. With all the stress, I have memory issues and more. So I didn't do this correctly. I printed the entire page of the email as a PDF and then didn't upload it to the print queue at the library like I do with all normal print jobs. Instead, I emailed it to myself so I could get up there, get into my email, get the PDF, and then print it. So I walk through the heat all the way up to the library, get up there, realize I should have put it into the print queue because I don't have the password to my email. It's one of those, well, I mean, I generated it, but it is a gibberish string of letters, digits, and symbols. I don't have that remembered. I use a password manager. So I had to walk all the way back home in the heat. Got here, uploaded the file, trying to make sure my shirt sits at least semi-symmetrically upon my body, uploaded it to the print queue at the library, walked back to the library through the heat, realized that I'd left my library card behind and I didn't have it anymore. I lost it because of everything that was happening. I had to be issued a new card. The file to be printed was uploaded to the old number that they had to cancel to give me the new one. So there was nothing to print, and I walked back home through the heat, and by then it was almost 5 o'clock. So I just relaxed. Oh my God. It took hours all day. Part of it was the walking, part of it was being at the library, part of it was here getting stuff ready. It took hours all day. I was exhausted. I was too hot. I had been dizzy and was having issues with my nerves. So, yeah, it is raining right now because it's, while coolish, it's going to warm up and get into the mid-80s in the afternoon. But right now it's raining and I'm going to have to get up to the library so I can get that printed thing, so I can get it printed and then take it over to the rental company. So the morning time after I finish and upload this is going to be pretty fun. One thing I did yesterday while I was on my way to the library, though, is I stopped off at this. There's a thrift shop, but they've had like rough luck apparently. I mean, they're only open like Wednesday through Saturday. And even at that, they haven't been able to be open a lot because of who knows what, I don't know. And then they have a broken window that they have to block off, and so that's great too. But I went in there just to take a look around, and I actually bought something. It only cost $1, which is why I bought it, but it's a deluxe dice cup. It's deluxe because it comes with these packed products inside of it. Another thing that isn't made by them, but it's still stuffed inside. And then another bag of these, which makes it a deluxe dice cup. But it's just a thing to put dice in and roll them, so that when I put dice into my dice tower, I don't have to be a plebe and use my hands. I can pour them in with my dice cup. It was $1, and it's kind of, nifty in its own way. So I just thought I'd show that off, and it's amazing, isn't it? Yay! But yeah, yesterday I did not do much. Now, I'm going to talk about hyperfixating. Because before I knew how I had ADHD, and I've only realized and been diagnosed with ADHD in the past couple of years, and with the ADHD I have time blindness. I can't even tell you how far back it was, because in normal times, by the time I hit mid-afternoon, morning feels like it was yesterday. So my trying to figure out times is wonky. I cannot do that very well. The ADHD hyperfixating. There we go. I'm like squirrel, and when you do that, boing, everything is gone. But being able to hyperfixate, didn't realize exactly what was going on when I was younger. Now, a lot of people talk about how they have problems remembering face buttons and stuff on controllers, and because if you switch between them, you're going to have different things. And way back when we had a PlayStation and an OG Xbox, all the face buttons, of course, are different. I was having issues with that until one afternoon I just said, no. And I spent some time just looking at and making sure I knew which thing was which and which buttons my thumb would hit. And then I went on to the next controller, and 20 some odd years later, I have no issues. I pick up an Xbox controller and immediately my thumb knows which buttons to hit, because hey, this is the button for X and this is Y, A, B. And when I switch over to the PlayStation controller, oh yeah, cross, triangle. And so it's just, my thumb has the muscle memory. But that was the hyperfixating to be able to do that. Because as well, I'd realized that there were games that if I am just casually playing them, I'm going to be just okay. But if I spend an afternoon just wanting to get better, I don't get great, but I can bring myself to a point of competence in a fairly short period of time, because I didn't realize I was just hyper fixating. I have been hyperfixating on the game Halls of Torment. Just as before I had hyperfixated on Vampire Survivors. I have to get back to that. There's more stuff that they've added. I haven't unlocked everything, but I was just hyperfixated on it for a while. With Halls of Torment, I don't know how many characters there are, but I've unlocked like 6 of them. I can't remember all that they are, but there's a sorceress, the warrior, the ranger or thief, I can't remember which one, and then there's a shield maiden, a cleric, an exterminator. So, and apparently there are a couple more. I've gotten some of the achievements where it's only 26% of the people that own this game have beaten it. So I've been working my way from the 75% of the people who play this game down to the 25% of the people who play this game get these. So I've been hyperfixating on that. And I say that because I have been playing the game and I was hyperfixating on Daggerfall, playing that for the channel. Daggerfall is one of those games that you need to play all the time because there are quests and you need to remember the quests and where you are on the quest, because while it holds your hand a little bit, it doesn't hold your hand all the way. And it's more Morrowindy than Morrowind on quest, because the quest book for Morrowind would just give you, oh, you need to head to the east until you see the weird tree. You'll find the cave that you need around there. And then those were your directions. So that was great. But on Daggerfall, it's just while you're not lost, it's just you're going from location to location to location. But those locations are dungeons and they are octopus and you can get lost and you need to remember things and oh my god. And so I've been doing other things. I can't remember enough to go back to Daggerfall. I stopped hyperfixating on it. So I've been hyperfixating on Halls of Torment, and I'm going to continue fixating for a little while, which is, in a way, kind of sad because I was playing Diablo 1, and I was playing Diablo 2. I have reinstalled, as well as I was playing Fate, I've reinstalled Grim Dawn. I have been playing some of that. But I've been hyperfixating now on Halls of Torment. I had to delete a bunch of stuff so I could reinstall Postal 2 Complete. I haven't even started that because I'm fixating on Halls of Torment. Hyperfixation, ADHD. I'm taking ADHD meds. One of them is just bupropion / Wellbutrin that also has some ADHD effects aside from being the antidepressant, and then one is called guanfacine. It is a blood pressure med, but one of the side effects is it can help with ADHD, the physical aspects of it. And I used to be one of those people that my leg was bouncing all the time. So they help, but they aren't as good as Ritalin was. And even Ritalin at the end, when it was driving my blood pressure to a point where I'm lucky I didn't have a stroke, even its efficiency was diving downward like this through time. Oh well. But I just wanted to talk about that. Plus, real quick, remember ACAB includes Paw Patrol. Checking the time. Good golly, 14 minutes. I can't there's not a whole lot of time, and because of everything that was going on, I didn't get a whole lot of actual thinking done, but my thought processes are odd enough. There's this one guy online, has a channel, he plays games, and I have to tie down my shirt again because I am just that way. He puts weird titles for his videos. Like there is a game, I guess it's called Don't Marry It or something, but one of his titles is A Monster in Your Room Wants to Eat You, Don't Marry It, Please. And so that's his title for the game. And if it's Don't Marry It being the name of the game, I looked at that title, and of course, writing prompt. And so I was thinking, it's a monster in your room wants to eat you, don't marry it. That seems kind of, at odds. How are you going to mix those together? So I was just thinking that you'd have a character going like, yeah, I was visited by a sleep paralysis demon last night. Or monster. And talking to either a friend, I was thinking more therapist. And it was pretty scary, but we started to talk, and it turns out he's really an interesting fellow. He's a monster, but an interesting guy. And so we set things up, we started talking, and we had our first date. And he had to run things past me first because I'm only human. He's a sleep paralysis monster. But we were going to, on that Friday, go out and terrorize a couple people in the first half of the night. And then for dinner, we were going to eat someone. And I've never eaten a person before, so I said yeah. And it was fun. It was scary watching him work, but it was nice watching my boyfriend work. And in the end, before we had dinner, he asked me if I wanted to try terrorizing someone, and so I got to sleep paralysis terrorize someone, and it was fun. It was great. You get access to all their memories. I just used all their childhood trauma while they couldn't move. It was awesome. They just were crying and just blubbering. It was awesome. And then we ate someone. So that's the sort of thing that just leaped into my head immediately upon his title. So am I going to do anything with that past what I've just done now? Probably not. Any more than I want to do something with this vampire story that I talked about a bit ago that isn't a story about, it's an allegory about my wife dying and myself trying to find my place in the world. Because I had decided, I had thought it would be funny when there was a person who would say, oh, you just have to ask, I've got blood to share. Runs into a vampire, was able to fight them off. Turns out the vampire was able to be pushed away and knocked away from feeding because they're distracted. They lost their townhouse to like internet billionaire. And they're trying to make their way in this new and confusing world because they're 300 years old, and for 150 years their townhouse and where they lived, nothing really happened. And then rail and whoosh, the world that we went to the moon, we've got AI. His townhouse that he's owned for 300 years was bought by a shell corporation, and the neighborhood bulldozed to make a condo for millionaires. So he's trying to make his way in the world. And yeah, at first I thought, hey, this is a funny story about a vampire and this guy doesn't mind sharing. Then it was like, oh no, this is a story about a guy, this vampire who lost his home, and how do you deal with losing something so valuable? How do you make your way in the world? And that's when I realized this was a story about my wife dying and how I need to make my new way in the world. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with that story. But I wanted to talk about all these various things, and it is at 19 minutes, and I have decided, after listening to some people in the comments and thinking about it myself, between 20 minutes and 30 minutes is a good length for just these. I don't really want to go longer because that would be more of a podcast format thing, and I'm not really doing a podcast. I don't know how to do that. Who would listen to it anyway? So, any longer, nah. Any shorter, I'm not really talking about all the things I need to talk about to keep my head running properly. So, we're going to go with that. And I want to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. I was able to write new names on this card today. All of these beautiful and awesome people are in fact beautiful and awesome people. Without their help, I and my aging pet would be hosed like Christmas monkeys. And that's the worst possible way for any monkey to be hosed. I don't want to be hosed like that. So thank you, each one of my Patreon patrons, and anybody who has donated in the past to my PayPal, and to each and every person who has donated to my GoFundMe. Oh my gosh, you are making it a whole lot easier. I'm going to be able to get a U-Haul. Well, I gotta pay for the Comcast, which eats up a lot, but should be able to. I got the money to pay for the U-Haul. If storage costs haven't gone up as much as everything else has, I should have enough at least for a month on that. And then we're trying to find a home, so depending on where it is and what's happening, I should have enough for any deposits or first month's rent. So thumbs up, thank you, each and every one of you. And I want to go through and thank and turn off the spotlight. And thank everybody who has left me comments in the past 24 hours. It's never many anymore, but anything more than 0 is awesome. Thank you so very, very much. If I mispronounce your username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count on the fingers of this hand in American Sign Language, it's just skimming purposes. We have Wumbo. Thank you so very, very much. And I like to be around people while not actually interacting with people. So in a tiny house type of community, if I can just be inside my little tiny house and not really deal with anybody, then yeah, that's okay. I mean, I've lived in, most of my life has been in rental type homes or situations like that where I've got roommates. The whole house is a communal thing except for personal rooms. So that's not a big deal. I've always lived in boarding house type situations. Except when I lived with my parents, when I was younger. And we have Xelos, Xelos. I absolutely love the game Halls of Torment. The Diablo-esque graphics and the sounds that the little guys make when they're running around instead of the absolute silence that most others do. Oh my god, it's awesome. And then we have Jesse Koskinen. Next year, maybe 2 years, depending on how long this will take for me to recover from, it'll all be over. It's only going to be like 2% of my life maximum that this is going to continue sucking. So thumbs up on that. But good to see you in the comments. And we have Chris, thumbs up, thank you, good to see you in the comments. Drunken Coward, greatly appreciated, and Hokey Smokes. Walking up the library and back is fun. Yamil, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. J-A-Y-Y, greatly appreciated. And yeah, good old Danny, Big Danny at WKNLV at Tenasket Valley at that station. That's where it all started a long time ago. Then we have Mighty Sauce, thumbs up, thank you. And here's hoping Countess of Mongrab, whom with the icon there, I believe I have seen before. And my sister has to have that insulin pump just like you. It's fun. Life saving, yeah. She's had it for a while. I'm glad I don't have to have one. My A1C has been great. And I have abused my pancreas as much as the rest of my system. We have Manish Mandel. Thumbs up and thank you. There is Autumn, greatly appreciated. Adonis Rivera. I don't know why I'm putting that vast accent on there. My sincere apologies. But good to see you in the comments. Thumbs up and thank you. Then we there is Lucid Clarity. Thumbs up and thank you. Peter Nator. A lot of R's there at the end. Thumbs up and thank you much. KYLEUNG, thumbs up and thank you. Lumeria, always good to see you in the comments. Thumbs up, thank you much. And here's hoping things go well. Floramew, thumbs up and good to see you in the comments. Indeed, canon is interesting. It really is. Remembering, of course, that every generation has to recontextualize all media for their generation. And so, what does canon mean? Every generation it has to be recontextualized. And then we have User. I am a born worrier. I'm a warrior of worrying. And I know it's rare to die under just direct anesthesia. And it's rare to die under just direct surgery, and even in recovery, it's moderately rare for anything poor to happen. I am taking a relatively justified minor fear. I mean, they're cutting me open, that's scary. And I'm putting it on a pedestal and then treating it like it's a gigantic monster. It's I need to never do that, but that's what I've done my whole life, so I try not to. And then there is RJ Mitchell, thumbs up, thank you much. And that is it for each and every person that has left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciated, each and every one of you. Get me out of my head, into the world, and dealing with real people. Thumbs up and thank you. Yay! My arm is doing moderately well. No muscle spasms last night. When I woke up, my arm was still properly on the pillow. So thumbs up on that. And this arm, while ow up here, it's not having near the issues here. So yay, a very good thing. Hopefully you can get done the things that you need to get done, because I need to get up to the library and it's raining hard. I need to get up to the library, get that printed, take it to the rental company. Then I can relax, hopefully get something recorded for the rest of the day. That would be good, a good thing. Again, I know there's not a lot of... Whoa! The gabapentin is affecting me there. My apologies. It can do a lot of stuff to your speech and make you very loopy. I have troubles with my speech. I can't even remember where I was because I hyperfixated on this. So, whatever I was talking, I think it was recording, but yeah. Oh yeah, I record not as a way for, I mean, I want to entertain, so I try to find things that people will watch. And yeah, I'd really like it if I had like thousands or tens of thousands of viewers. I mean, yeah, that would be nice. But even though I get around 100, 200, sometimes 300 views on a video, and where most channels would consider mine dead because of that, I do have 100, 200, 300 people that maybe they're not watching the whole video, but at least while they're watching, they're entertained, I would hope. And it's for my mental health, stability and foundation, routine and habit. Yay! Checking the time, 27 minutes. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. But now I have to turn my controller on so I can turn the recording here off. Putting my hands in the most high contrast position I can find. You take care. I got a busy one, at least in the morning time, and hopefully the rest of your day is good.